Well, I don't want to wait for them to do another movie parody.
Yeah, we definitely need to get some
I know,
music.
we do, right? Because it's like, it needs something. It needs something. It's Horny Creek, everyone. Do we need, like, the Cinemax, like, bow, chicka, bow, wow.
That could work.
Horny Creek. We need
That
something like
could
that,
work.
right?
Yes, yes.
So, we need pornographic music.
I think this was one of the horniest episodes of Horny Creek.
This was a horny episode. Let me tell you. This episode titled Breakfast Club.
Like, their time in the Breakfast Club was much more sexual, I think.
Oh, yeah. The movie The Breakfast Club, there's not a lot of overt sexuality going on.
No.
There's the flirtation between Judd Nelson's bad boy and Molly Ringwald's prissy popular girl. Mm-hmm. But, that's it, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, there's only like a kiss or something at one point.
Yeah. No one else is trying to get with anybody else. And it's all just about...
That's not true. Sheedy and Estevez get together. Not Estevez.
Do they?
Is it Estevez?
Emilio Estevez is in the movie, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like the popular chick gives her a makeover and then he thinks she's pretty. And
Oh, yeah, that's true. But there's no like, overt flirting
there's
going on.
a lot less overtness.
Yeah. There's no orgies.
Definitely no orgy. They don't even talk about orgies.
But yeah, this episode, oh my God.
I mean, it starts out with Dawson and Joey in his room watching movies as per usual.
Yes. They're watching they don't say what it is, but like a typical action film. Mm-hmm. And he turns it off because he's like, I hate this. It's so unrealistic. And she's like, you like E.T. Talk about fucking realistic.
And then she tackles him on the bed to get the remote.
Yeah. And then she stops as she's straddling him. She doesn't say anything, but like she feels something.
You think that's why she stops?
Fuck yes! There's some stirring going on underneath the creek.
I don't know. You think for her she'd just continue on?
There's a creek monster there. Well, she feels... See, that's Joey's problem, though. Joey's problem is she wants to push things right to that edge, and then she can't go over the edge. Mm-hmm. That's her big problem. But she talks about how, like, hey, she puts a lot of the insecurity... This is the first episode where I actually felt for Dawson. But she puts a lot of the insecurity in there because he's talking about this movie and stuff, and she's like, it's because you're a romantic. That's why you don't like this movie. Because you don't like the idea that in real life...
Oh, yeah.
Women don't always go for the sappy, romantic, like leading man type that they do in movies. Sometimes they go for the guy with the fastest car or the biggest biceps because sometimes women are like that. Sometimes women are superficial too, just like guys. And he's like, no. And she's like, yeah, that's why Jen hasn't fucked you yet. That was mean. Maybe she wants someone with big biceps like Pacey. Pacey's got bigger biceps than you.
She was being very mean to him.
Absolutely. And she was playing on all of his insecurities.
And she totally got under his skin.
Because that is the reality for a lot of teenage boys. So I'm not going to argue that teenage boys have as much time, like hard time dealing with what do they call it, like body dysmorphia or whatever, you know what I mean? Like where it's
body issues.
Yeah, sure, body issues. Like where you like judge yourself based on models and stuff like that. Like women have it a lot harder, obviously.
Right.
But guys go through similar stuff in different ways. And it's not necessarily talked about as much. But yeah, like there and it happens to every guy. Like I think almost every guy can relate to this in some way or another. Like I wasn't exactly like Dawson when I was in high school. But I can relate to certain parts of what he's talking about here, where you feel like other guys are stronger or more handsome or more sexually experienced or more desired, like wanting to not only be like being the nice guy and but wanting to be wanted too. If you're not the quote unquote bad boy, then you're always a little jealous of the bad boy types. And I don't think I was necessarily a bad boy. I wasn't as goody two shoes and romantic and is in the other direction as Dawson was.
Right.
But I wasn't fully like them or me, bitch. Kind of like, prototypical bad guy, right?
Right.
And so I think every guy that has some niceness in him has some jealousy over that type.
Yeah, maybe.
And Pacey's more that type, although also not completely a bad boy either.
I mean, he's not an asshole, if that's what you mean by being completely a bad boy.
Uh-huh.
But I would say he's a bad boy. I mean, he fucked his teacher.
Right.
She
victimized him, but yeah. Continue.
He has the I don't follow the rules kind of attitude.
Yeah.
But he's still respectful of people in general.
Well, I didn't follow all the rules either. But I guess if you're considering him a bad boy, I was more of a bad boy than I thought then, I guess. If that's what is a cat trying to get in here?
Again, as always.
Talk about bad boys.
Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do?
Right. But anyway, so I think many guys can relate to that is what I'm saying.
So yeah, she Joey gets all in his head with that. Mm-hmm. And then the next day at school.
They're at school.
Everybody is everybody's having a bad fucking day. Everybody's irritable. Everybody's fighting with everybody. Yeah. It's no good.
There's something in the water at the creek.
Right? So Dawson and Pacey start fighting over they're in gym and
Well, before that happens though.
What other stuff happens with Pacey and Dawson?
Yeah. Pacey is talking to Jen. And they're talking about Dawson when Dawson was younger and everything. And I guess Dawson was pudgier when he was younger or whatever.
I guess.
And Pacey reveals that their nickname for him used to be Oompa Loompa.
That's so awful.
And he explains what an Oompa Loompa is. And then, because she doesn't know somehow. And then, so Dawson and Pacey are talking. And he's like, yeah, what the fuck were you talking about with Jen? He's like, she already told me it was about me. And he's like, she did not. And he goes, yeah, she did. And he goes, oh. And he's like, well, it's, there are worse things than her knowing that you were called Oompa Loompa. And then he gets fucking pissed because he was bluffing because he had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was shitty of him to tell her, too. I mean, he knows that... He knows that Dawson wouldn't want her to know that.
This is a perfect episode, in my opinion, that, pulls your emotion along perfectly. Because I was so on Dawson's side up until the end when Dawson has this change of heart and Pacey and him start actually talking it out. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess he and to extension me were overreacting to this situation. Because he really is, if you think about it. But as the episodes gets pulled, going along, you're like, you get pulled along with the emotion of it. Mm-hmm. You're like, what an asshole Pacey's being. And you're on Dawson's side.
Well, he is being an asshole because he tells Jen that. And so Dawson's already upset. And then he asks him to, shoot hoops with him in front of the cheerleaders to make him look good.
He wants to impress the cheerleaders, yeah.
This is kind of... That's insulting.
This is kind of an asshole thing he says. Because he's like, why don't you just shoot free throws or whatever? He's like, no, I need you to make me look good. Mm-hmm. And then he does say... a little bit of self-deprecation, but also a slam of Dawson. He's like, 'cause somehow you're worse than I am, or whatever. And then when they play later, it's like, yeah, they're both not good at basketball.
Right.
I was like, I could beat the fuck out of both of them in basketball.
But there was just so much, anger and aggression going on during this game. And then Pacey called him an Oompa Loompa.
He just kept calling him it, too.
And so Dawson got pissed and threw a basketball at his face.
And this was some great camera work, by the way.
Yeah.
Because they get right up in his face, and it's almost like I think they put plexiglass in front of the camera so that like it would hit the camera. Because that's what it felt like. It felt like we were getting hit with the ball. It was all of a sudden it was like bang bang. Oh man! And then he's down, and it was great.
Yeah, down and bleeding, and all the cheerleaders are comforting him.
Yeah, but he kind of gets what he wants.
Yeah, he kind of got what he wanted, kind of.
Right.
But Dawson gets, detention for fucking breaking Pacey's nose.
Right. So he's the second in detention, but the second that gets put in detention that we see.
Yeah.
Jen is the first.
I was going along with the Dawson storyline because that's what we started with.
I understand. I got it. It's not a criticism.
Yeah, Jen ends up in detention because...
We talked about the intro. I didn't get to say anything, did I? You didn't get to say, hey, what's up? You never said, hey, what's up?
Oh my God, it's a travesty.
I never got to say that it was March 4th, 1998.
Yeah, I guess we just went right in there, no foreplay.
Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. God, no KY, nothing.
Anyway.
Sorry, guys. Sorry if you're hurt.
Yeah, Jen is in class where they're talking about euthanasia, which...
And I've always thought that they're like they solved that problem, didn't they? China has like the one.
Oh my God!
China has the one child policy, so there's not as much euthanasia anymore.
Oh, stop it! I mean, her grandpa is in like a coma or whatever. Shut up! Her grandpa.
So rude.
I can't help it. I'm tired.
Yeah. Well,
can I fucking talk?
I'm contemplating some euthanasia right now. Yeah, euthanasia means suicide, by the way. It's assisted suicide or whatever. It's fucking Jack Kevorkian type stuff.
Yeah, I was giving our listeners the benefit of the doubt that they already knew that.
I just wanted to make sure everyone knows we're on the same page here.
So her grandfather's in a coma or whatever, probably on hospice. So, she can really relate to this issue.
Yes.
She gets very emotional. The teacher is immediately against it. That's immoral. That's the
teacher's an asshole.
Teacher's a complete asshole.
Because he's and you can see in the way the one kid answers, the kid that answers before Jen, that they're just like, it's wrong. They're like, they know what he thinks, and they know what they have to say to get a good grade or to, just get through this class.
Right.
And it's like, that's not what school should be. School shouldn't be, here's what I think, and this is the reality. And there is no other interpretation for this very complex issue. Because when Jen starts arguing against it, he comes up to her and he's like, life is a gift from God, and only God can what if you don't believe in God?
Which she doesn't.
She doesn't believe in God.
And then she says, unless, you're dying and in pain, and then if you're on your deathbed, that's what she said, life's a bitch.
Right.
And so she gets attention for swearing at her teacher.
You're saying bitch, because he's like, this isn't Times Square.
Yeah. Yeah, what the fuck was that about? He's all like, oh, I'm sorry we're not as New York as you and all this stuff. Like, what? Are you jealous? What is going on? That's a weird way for a teacher to talk to a student.
Agreed.
I don't know.
And I heard Giuliani was cleaning up Times Square. That's what I heard.
And I mean, later she's like, oh, people judge me for being from New York and stuff. And it's like, yeah, but why?
Yeah, I don't understand that. If someone came here from New York, I mean, it's not like we live in necessarily a small creek town.
No, definitely not.
In New England, but I think in New England, maybe there's a little more prejudice against people from New York. Because I think there's a perception that people from New York in the rest of New England have this attitude of like, oh, we're the best. You got to get to the Bronx, and that kind of stuff.
I guess. So her and Dawson have both gotten detention now. Joey is in class giving a presentation
about the Shogun.
And apparently, like, he had 600 women in his harem or whatever.
Concubine.
And these guys are getting real excited.
Yeah, and they keep interrupting her presentation with relevant questions, but still, it's weird that they're not totally catcalling her or whatever, because the questions are somewhat relevant.
If I were the teacher, I would have run interference, though, because they're doing it in a creepy way, and they're focusing on the sex stuff.
Are you telling me that this guy's got his choice of 600 women?
And then, like, badass or whatever, like, they're all excited about it. It's like...
She's like, yeah. He's like... But he does ask a very interesting question. He's like, but can they be like, yeah, no, I don't want to do this? Or what? Like, do they have to? Are they forced to? Or do they have a choice? Which is a question not a lot of people would think of necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it wasn't a bad question. It was just the way they did it and the attitude behind it. He should have
waited to the end, because Joey's like, I'll take questions at the end.
Right.
And... she's like, well, it was considered an honor to be chosen by the Shogun, so I guess they would all say yes. And he's like, oh, yeah, because it's kind of like us, how we rule the school, because we're the big athletes and
then
stuff.
it's like when you want to puke, yeah.
And they and all the girls want to have sex with us. This is the formation of a rapist that we're watching. Someone that's going to be like, yeah, you want to get chosen by me.
Oh my goodness. It was painful to watch, and I really don't know why the teacher allowed it to go that far, especially.
Seriously. If this was a horror movie, which Kevin Williamson has made a couple, if this was a horror movie, this is the guy that would get killed like second, and he'd get like his fucking dick chopped off or something.
Oh God.
Like that he'd get killed in some groin injury type of way as retribution.
So Joey keeps it together in class.
Yeah.
She has more cool than Jen in this instance.
Yeah, she does.
But then these assholes cut in front of her in line in the cafeteria.
Mm-hmm. And for fish sticks.
Right.
What a thing to cut in line for.
And what did he say? Did he touch her ass or something? I can't remember exactly.
No, I don't think he touched her. Unless I missed it, I don't think he touched her. But he was like, hey, oh yeah, that's right. Because she's like, she says something like, you guys think you're entitled to everything or whatever because they cut in line. And he's like, he's like, yeah, we're like the Shoguns. He's like, that's right. We get whatever we want, Josephine or whatever. And he's like, so you can be a servant.
Oh yeah,
you can be a concubine.
He did touch her. He brushed her hair away from her face as he was saying that.
Oh, okay.
Which is even.
I missed that.
Yeah.
He's like, which do you want to be or whatever? And she takes her like. This is like action movie move. She takes her fucking tray and just like she kicks him in the balls and just smashes him in the fucking face with this tray.
Yes.
And stands over and she's like, neither.
And didn't she throw the tray at his friend behind him too? Like, yeah. She definitely did some damage too.
And, oh man, he was fucking on the ground. And
it felt good to watch that one though.
Yeah. So she gets detention too.
So there's also this other girl who we have not seen yet before.
Well, yeah.
Abby?
Yeah, it's you.
Hey, I'm not that bad.
She looks a little like you. You two look a little alike.
And she's obsessed with
she likes Truth or Dare.
Truth or Dare.
She likes to talk about sex.
Mm-hmm. She reminds me of a 16-year-old me, yes.
But it's like, it's weird because all of a sudden, it's like, I don't know, this entity from another fucking universe has just dropped into Dawson's Creek and she's just running around fucking like sowing chaos.
She is like a chaos little monster, yeah.
It's hilarious. I like her.
Yeah, I do too. So, yeah, they ask why she's in detention, and she says it's because she was doing ecstasy and
this is what she
had
says.
An orgy in the boys' locker room.
She's like, I can't tell you much, but you know the drug ecstasy. And they're like, yeah. You know the boys' locker room. Yeah. You've heard of an orgy. Yeah. That's all I can say. That's what she says.
It's ridiculous. And then Pacey won't tell them why he's in detention.
Yeah, Pacey is also in detention with his broken nose.
Yeah, so it's like you gotta really wonder, because it's like he got his nose broken. What did he do to get in trouble? Like the whole episode, it's like, what the fuck?
Right.
I mean, now Abby, she just exudes trouble, so it makes sense. Whatever it was, it makes sense she's there.
But it's is a lot like the movie, The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, they're in the library,
which they mention.
They're in the library.
Yeah, but Dawson flat out says this is like that movie, The Breakfast Club.
Oh, okay. I missed that, I guess.
Well, that was like one of the funny jokes in the episode where he goes, this is like that movie, The Breakfast Club, and that old John Hughes movie. And they're like, whatever happened to those people? And they're like, Ali Sheedy and whatever. I don't like. Anthony Michael Hall had something wrong with him, like a pancreas or something.
I don't know.
He said something. I don't remember. It's nothing I've ever heard of. But he said something was wrong with him, and so I guess he had to drop out of acting for a while. I don't know. And then he mentions somebody else, Molly Ringwald. Molly Ringwald aged out of her geeky ingenue phase or whatever.
Like, yeah. I
guess. And then he's like, the rest of them are in TV obscurity. To which Joshua Jackson, and not Pacey, but Joshua Jackson says, "Oh no, Emilio Estevez. He did those Mighty Ducks movies. Those were fucking awesome, hilarious, the best franchise ever." And then he winks at the camera.
Right.
It's not quite that overt, but
it's there.
And they all stare at him.
It's
a very big wink. It's like a Scream. It's meta. Mm-hmm. It's like commenting on it.
So
this Dawson's Creek exists in a world where the Mighty Ducks movies were made, mm-hmm. and someone that looks exactly like Joshua Jackson played Charlie, or someone that looks exactly. Pacey looks exactly like Joshua Jackson, I guess, is what we're saying. And no one ever comments on it.
I guess I didn't really think about it that hard. I mean, so you're saying that because they referenced the movie and he was in the movie, that it has to be a thing, that he looks like somebody in the movie, but nobody says it.
Wow, you really know how to take the fun out of a fucking hypothetical conversation.
Sorry.
Moving on.
So they're in the library for 8 hours, 9 to 5. The librarian is in her office watching recorded episodes of Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, I recognize it as Days of Our Lives because Sammy was on there.
Mm-hmm. So, she records the entire week's worth and watches it while she's doing Saturday detention. I think that's brilliant.
Smart if she's got to be there for Saturday detention.
And I mean, she's probably getting overtime. So, get paid to watch soap operas? Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Get paid to watch the best soap opera.
You like that one, huh?
My mom watches Days of Our Lives. I know all about Sammy and EJ and Uncle Bo and all that stuff. Victor Kiriakis.
See, I never watched that one. Just All My Children.
Well, you like that Jennifer Aniston.
Yes.
Victor Kiriakis is, I can't remember his first name, but his last name's Aniston because that's her dad.
Okay. So, while they're in the library...
John, I think. John Aniston, maybe? Something like that. Sorry.
While they're in the library,
yep,
they are bored to fucking tears.
Of course.
And decide to escape, just like in the Breakfast Club.
Well, first, they decide to play. First, you suggest to them to play Truth or Dare. Wait,
does that happen before they go?
Yes.
Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry. So they Abby's like, let's play Truth or Dare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And all the chaos happens because of her. She dares Joey to kiss Pacey, right?
No.
She dares Jen to kiss Pacey.
Yeah, she dares Pacey to kiss
Jen.
Jen, yes. Because it's Pacey's dare.
And Dawson just looks so pissed and horrified. I feel like they should have come up with the, parameters like we have done in the past where you don't kiss other people when you play the game. and their lives would have been a little happier that day.
Not if you're in a committed relationship.
Yeah, but they are in a committed relationship.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think if you're... Because that's part of the fun, right, of Truth or Dare, I guess, is that kind of, like, shenanigans.
Right.
But if you're in a committed relationship, or if you're playing the game with people in committed relationships, then, yes, I think you should have the right to put some parameters on it. Otherwise, it just becomes problematic.
But they did not. They did not put any parameters on it.
No.
They were asked questions that they didn't want to answer, so then they took dares, and these are the dares they got.
They played Truth or Dare wrong, by the way. They opted truth, and then when asked a truthful question, they were like, nah, I'll do dare instead.
Right.
That's not how you play.
Well, I mean, I don't know, house rules. I mean, like, I've played that way before.
If someone asks you a question you don't want to answer, you can go to the dare instead.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's do a shot, but,
right.
They're in a library. They didn't have alcohol.
No.
They're forgiven. So
shot of ecstasy.
Now, Jen and Pacey have already kissed before for the movie.
For the movie, yeah.
So it's not. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
It's not a huge deal, but it was before Dawson and Jen were officially dating.
Yeah, when they kissed before, yes.
Yes.
But, I mean, it's like, okay, whatever. They kissed before and they didn't hook up or anything. So it's like, I don't think there's like a big, like, oh, some electric spark's going to occur.
But Dawson thinks that there is. And Dawson has been, because of what Joey's been saying, Dawson's gotten the idea that, like, oh, she probably wants Pacey. Because all the girls probably want Pacey, is what he's thinking. Because I'm the nice guy and Pacey's the bad boy. And that means I'm, like, mostly, I'll bring you flowers and, we can talk and stuff like that, but she doesn't want me.
It's ridiculous. She just doesn't want to have sex right now.
Because of her past, which makes complete sense.
That doesn't mean that she has no desire for him.
Yeah, but he's a dumb teenager. He doesn't know that.
Right.
But she does look like she enjoys that kiss.
She did get a little into that kiss.
Yeah.
But.
And I don't know if that was a choice, or I don't know if it was just what happened on the day. But, yeah, it did look like she enjoyed the kiss.
And Dawson looks like he's about to vomit or kill somebody. I'm not sure which. Mm-hmm. And then she asks Joey, who do you like? And she doesn't want to answer the question.
Right.
Like, do these people not understand how to lie?
Yeah, no shit. It's Truth or Dare. I must tell the truth. But no, Pacey asks her.
Or Pacey asks her
that.
Because
it's Pacey's turn. And she doesn't want to do it. So he says, you kissed Dawson for 15 seconds.
Yeah, he had to kiss Jen for 10 seconds, which, by the way, I counted and it was 12. And then I didn't even count for Dawson and Joey. Cause,
supposedly Abby was, but...
she probably let it go extra.
That
was a kiss. That was a hell of a kiss.
They were both really into that kiss.
Yeah.
And Jen looked sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she should. Because her and Joey, well, I guess it was later we're talking. Because, again, that was in the fucking... Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. I
don't know how she handled that whole thing. Anyway.
I don't either. Later, she does say... They were talking about they mentioned something about the kiss, and later Jen's like, yeah, I'm not into him, or I'm not into. She's like, no offense to Pacey. She's like, but no. Mm-hmm. It makes it very clear. Like, she was much more convincing than she was when Joey. Because the next thing that happens is Joey asks Jen for truth, and she's like, yeah, whatever, truth. And she's like, is Dawson the person you're most attracted to? And she's like, you mean the person I like the most? And she's like, no, those are different things. The ones you want the most, that you're most, like, sexually attracted to in the whole town or whatever. And she's like, like, she does lie.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who she's thinking of, but it's not Dawson.
See, I was actually suspicious that it was Pacey.
But I don't think so, based on what she says later. I'm thinking maybe it's that quarterback dude.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, she was dating somebody else.
But, yeah, she likes Dawson, and maybe she wants him somewhat, but, like, he's not... She doesn't think he's the hottest guy in town.
I mean, I don't understand what's gotten into Joey, though, that she's so obsessed with this idea about, whether or not Dawson's attractive and to Jen and everything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, why? Where did this come from?
I don't know, but it's something I hope that they continue to mine, but I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
But I'd like to explore it more. It is an interesting question, though, because a lot of times the person that you like the most isn't the one you think is the hottest.
I guess.
Well, what about you?
You know that I think you're the hottest.
Do I?
Do you what?
Do I know that?
Don't you?
I guess.
You should. What about you?
What about me?
Am I the hottest?
Of course.
Well, there you go.
I've told you that many times.
And I've told you too.
Yeah, but I was being honest.
So was I.
Oh, all right.
So that was our version of Truth or Dare.
Yeah, I guess so. But it is the case, though, sometimes. Not all the time. But
sure.
It is the case sometimes where I believe that Jen could genuinely love Dawson, want to be with Dawson, thinks that Dawson is the best person for her, and is attracted to Dawson.
But find somebody else more attractive.
Correct.
Sure.
But find somebody else more physically attractive. They just don't have all the rest that Dawson has. And that's the thing is, like, for a teenage boy, that's like death.
Yeah.
Like when you get older and you're like, oh yeah, of course, all the other stuff that isn't physical, the emotional, the mental, all that stuff is just as important as the physical.
Right.
Sometimes more important than the physical. He makes her feel safe and taken care of. And that's more important to her.
But yeah, he doesn't get any of that.
No, he wants to be wanted. He wants to be, every guy wants to be the guy that all the girls are like, oh,
Well, if he wants to be wanted, then he's barking up the wrong tree. He needs to pay attention to Joey because she wants him.
Oh, 100%.
Like, it's ridiculous how much she wants him.
Yeah, seriously.
But when
after they kissed, they had to throw away the chair that she was sitting in the library.
Yeah, so that gets a little awkward after everybody's made out.
Right. Well, Abby didn't.
Yeah.
Abby didn't have to do shit.
She's a voyeur.
Yeah, she is. I'm telling you, she's you.
Hey.
What?
Anyway, they decide to sneak out and go play basketball.
Yeah, they because they get into a pissing contest where Pacey's like, oh, I beat you or whatever. He's like, that doesn't count. We didn't finish the game. And he was like, well, I'll fucking take you anytime, anywhere. And they're like, let's do it now.
So, yeah, they go down to the basketball court, and the girls are sitting on the sideline chatting, and the boys are, working out their aggression on the field there.
Joey's like, Jen, why don't you get your pom-poms, cheer your man on, bitch.
And then Jen's just like, why are you always like that to me? I've never been anything but nice to you.
Yeah, she's like, I can't remember the actress's name, but she's like the actress that plays Beverly Marsh in Part 2 of the It miniseries, 1990, where she's talking about Pennywise the Clown, and she just goes, why is it so mean? It's so awful and overwrought.
Right.
But that's what it is. Like, why is she so mean? That's basically what she does to her.
But, she's right, though. She really has gone out of her way to try to be nice and be friends with Joey, and Joey's just constantly a bitch.
And then Joey, immediately melts, and she's like, well, what are you talking about? I like you, whatever. She's like that kid that's, being made to apologize, or she's like, I like you, God.
And they talk about the boys a little bit, and, basically... Jen's kind of like, you should just admit it or whatever, I think, about liking Dawson. And Joey's like, whatever. Just ignores her, like, no.
Uh-huh.
Am I getting this right at all?
I think so.
Okay. And then later, first of all, the boys, get their shit out on the court.
Kind of.
They still don't get to finish their game.
No, Dawson makes one basket.
Yeah.
And declares himself the victor by making one basket. They're terrible at basketball. Like, Pacey can't hold on to the ball. Dawson's stealing it, like, at every opportunity. And neither of them can shoot. I mean, just the worst. Like, they don't look athletic in any way. But I guess it's realistic.
But they have to run back to the library because somehow they've, like, Abby has figured out exactly how long they're supposed to have where the teacher's watching the soaps. Like, maybe she takes a potty break. Maybe she pauses it to go check on you. I don't know why she thinks, it's going to be exactly this amount of time.
But they get caught.
They do. So the librarian is masochistic, man.
Yeah, she is.
She goes in there and overturns a whole...
one of the card catalogs.
Like a whole drawer of the card catalog and says that they have to have it back in alphabetical order by the end of their detention or they have to come back next week.
I guess to give them something to do.
Yeah, so they stop getting in trouble. I mean, it makes sense, but she just looks so happy about it. It was kind of messed up.
So they start doing it, and Abby, being the instigator once again, is like... She says something about... What did she say? How did she start this conversation? She says something to Joey and Jen about Dawson and stuff. And I don't remember exactly how she starts the conversation. I remember that they say... She's like, well, what are you in here for, Pacey? Oh, and they say to the librarian says to Abby, she's like, yeah, you learn your lesson, Abby. The school won't tolerate excessive tardies.
Yeah.
It's like we all knew she wasn't in there for an orgy.
Right.
That if she was having an orgy in the boys' locker room, she wouldn't get detention.
No, there would be a lot more.
Right.
Yeah. Although, honestly, I mean, I think Dawson should have gotten more for breaking Pacey's nose.
Probably, yeah. But anyway, so that's what she's in for. And they're like, hey, I beat you, so you got to tell. So Pacey tells.
Oh, yeah.
Pacey tells a story that, like, you couldn't fucking torture this story out of me. Mm-mm. You couldn't, like Chinese water torture, or like that finger where they put the bamboos under your fingernails. Yeah. They'd have to violate the Geneva Conventions to get this story out of me.
But, yeah, so the cheerleaders, like we said, were fawning all over him when he got, hurt.
Which gave him, made him, what do they call it, trelliscent.
He got excited.
Yeah.
And he went to the bathroom to take care of his nose. Nose.
Right.
And
with his hand.
The coach went in to check on him because of his nose.
Now, here's the thing. Yeah, but actually his nose. Not the other thing. Not the euphemism. Here's the thing. Presumably... he went to a stall.
You would think.
That he wasn't just doing it out in the open.
Right.
So if he's sitting in a stall in the toilet with the door closed, presumably.
I mean, yeah, we're presuming a lot, but yeah.
Then the coach has to come in there and push the door open without knocking or anything. Rude. This is not good.
Yeah, I don't understand how, he got caught. Because you'd think as soon as somebody walked in, he'd just stop. Pretend like you're taking a shit.
Sure. Put your dick away.
But maybe he wasn't that smart. Maybe he didn't go into a stall. Maybe he was in the open. Maybe he
just
was standing over a urinal or something. I don't know.
I am willing to bet that no human man has ever masturbated over a urinal. What a weird and awkward position to be in.
Yeah. But yeah, so he gets caught and he gets detention for that.
I love how he gets detention for that.
That's so weird. Like, why? If I were the coach, I would have been just as embarrassed and just turn around and walk out and never mention it again.
Exactly.
Not, let's bring administration and paperwork and shit into this horrible, embarrassing situation.
So I walked in on a kid in the bathroom.
And really, is that against the rules?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's
in the bathroom.
It's indecent exposure of some kind.
I guess, but I mean, that's assuming again that he didn't hide himself at all, which I guess he didn't.
I guess. I don't know. I mean,
Was he an animal? He just had to whip it out. He couldn't even make it to the stall.
He had to be in a stall.
I don't understand. we'll never understand.
No.
But this horrible...
I'm not going to say that, that I've never been in this situation before.
Okay. I guess we are playing Truth or Dare.
No, I'm just saying that we could have done that this episode. Just played Truth or Dare, periodically. No, I mean, lots of guys have been in situations like this
where they had to go to the bathroom to take care of something.
Yeah.
See, I've only been aware of that happening from really socially awkward weirdo people, not normal people.
Thanks.
No, I mean, I've been in social situations where all of a sudden a guy is in the bathroom and it's like, you know what's happening in there, and it's just like, what the fuck? And
you do? What are you talking about? Oh, you'll have to tell me about this later.
So, yeah, I can't imagine that a normal dude just hey, I have to go in the bathroom and take care of this thing now.
When you're a teenage boy, sometimes it has to happen.
Weird. Okay,
hormones are very powerful.
If that's true, then they shouldn't punish him.
I agree. I don't think he should be punished. I don't think he should have been walked in on. And I'm not saying this was once a week occurrence at school or something like that. I'm saying once, maybe twice, that I've had occasion to do that when I was younger,
Right. Okay.
And I'll bet you most guys out there have.
Probably. I mean, I guess I would assume being a teenager sucks. Yeah. So Pacey goes through that embarrassment, and then how does Joey end up crying? That's the end of the episode. She ends up crying, and I don't remember what triggers this.
Well, okay, so here's where Abby comes into play, and I do not remember exactly how she gets to this point. But she's basically just like, Joey, you should just fucking say who you like or whatever. And Dawson starts talking to her, and he's like, Joey, it's okay. You can say it. I'll be here for you. Like I was in the 6th grade. I'm always here for you. Maybe if you say it and get it out in the open, the emotion will lessen. He's like...
What an idiot.
I know. He's basically trying to say, hey, just admit that you like me. And maybe that, it being out in the open will help it go away. That's what he wants to happen.
He wants it to go away.
Because he wants the awkwardness to stop. He wants to just be friends with Joey, and he wants to have sex with Jen. But yeah, she's like, I can't say it. If I say these things, I can't take them back, and all
it'll
this
change
stuff.
everything.
Right. And it's like, what you're doing is worse than just saying.
I mean, yeah, it's like everybody in the room knows what you're talking about.
Right.
So you may as well just say it.
Yeah.
But so basically it's out there even though it's not officially out there.
Right. So she doesn't say it.
No.
And that is how the episode ends.
Yeah.
They get released from detention, and then that's it.
Just, everybody's all awkward now. Because they know things that they should not know, and everybody except Abby has kissed everybody.
And is Abby going to come back?
I don't know.
That's what I want to know.
I would like her to, though.
I would.
I think she's very fun.
I don't think she necessarily needs to be part of the main cast.
Right.
But I would love her to come up from time to time.
Yeah.
To be a featured guest in episodes.
An agent of chaos.
Yeah. It's the best. Because she really doesn't feel like she fits into this world 100%. But she feels like she very easily can manipulate this world.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, it's great.
So I loved this episode. I thought it was so fun.
Fantastic episode.
Because it was a hangout episode, and there was all the secrets and emotions, and just it's like a fun ride.
Yep. Classic bottle episode.
Yeah. It was good.
But that is the episode for this week.
So you can write us at latefee1994AOL.com.
Yep.
Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
That too.
Share the tapes with your friends.
Oh, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.